This is Lee Ridley. I was lucky enough to achieve 2 promotions with Scunthorpe United, but nothing compares to the joy I experience when listening to the Iron Hour podcast. Just a heads up, this podcast contains strong language, you know, the good stuff. If this isn't for you, turn off now. For the rest of you, now fucking enjoy the podcast.
Right, it's Barry here. Welcome to another episode of the Iron Hour podcast. We've got some familiar faces and one probably not that familiar to podcast listeners, but if you watch Gareth's Matchday vlog, I'm sure you'll recognise him. So I've got Marco to my left, as per usual. How are you doing, Marco?
Yeah, bit of a rough week, but I'm here. I'm still standing.
The usual Max Bell, unforgettable Max. How are you doing today, Max?
Yeah, all right. I'm just impressed that Marco was channeling his inner Elton John there, giving it the old I'm still standing. He's going to go for the big glasses next, I reckon.
He said he sat down as well, so...
he's just like a candle in the wind.
Oh, God. It's happened already, mate.
Yeah.
And filling in for Gareth today, we've got a member of the usual fans panel on BBC Radio Humberside, massive Scunthorpe United fan, Stato is what a lot of people call him, Ryan Middleton. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm alright, thank you. Are you?
You're the only person who's asked me that. I'm very well, thank you. A big thank you to our usual sponsors, the Black Door. We're here again at the Black Door. We're not in our usual room. It's Thursday, which means it's an open pub day, so we've been kicked to the back, but we're very thankful to the Black Door for letting us use their premises as always. A big shout out also to our other sponsors, Know.Film. Again, Pete isn't here today filming us, but he's fantastic, isn't he, Pete?
Love Pete. Yeah.
We should tell him more, I think.
Definitely my favourite person.
One thing to tell you about at the Black Door here, they will be shutting on the 17th of September and they'll be reopening the following Saturday. And I think we mentioned last week there's a lot of interesting, a lot of good work going on after the refurb. I think there's arcade games and other things coming to the venue, so it's definitely our recommendation. If you can get yourselves down to the Black Door, there's lots going on, one of the best venues in town. Right, what I think we'll do, guys, is jump straight into the review of the last 2 games. So we had, since we last spoke, we had the Alfreton game, 2-2 away. Want to kick us off, Max? Talk to me about the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think under normal circumstances you'd have been frustrated with the result. Harley fans went into it with high hopes, but you know, rightly or wrongly, and I've still not really seen a conclusive replay back. You know, we did play more than 90 minutes with 10 men, so when you go away from home, you're playing that long with a man less, you've probably got to be philosophical about that point. I mean, I don't know what the other lads think, but you know, we might be frustrated about the first goal. Second goal looks a really good strike, so yeah, mixed feelings.
Ryan, what do you think for the sending off? Was it a fair dismissal, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was, to be honest. I said that on the radio the other day when I was asked by Matt Dean. I think it was probably a sending off. Wasn't a great tackle.
There, did you hear Matt Dean?
But yeah, it was one of them 50. You know, sometimes you get away with it early on in the game. So yeah, he could have just given him a final warning and a yellow card, but
yeah,
wasn't in on that.
So I haven't heard any communication from the club yet. Do we know? I mean, I presume will it be a 3-match ban? Will it be violent conduct? Yeah.
And presumably they haven't appealed either, because if I was them and I was appealing, you know, you'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Not heard anything.
I mean, I saw on Twitter before. Again, it was just glancing, but somebody said that it was the first game that referee had done at that level. It was being fast-tracked into that level. So to make a massive call that early on in the game, I think he wanted to do everything by the book. I've seen the replay. I wouldn't say it was reckless, but he's not in control. So I mean, it's one of them. It could have gone either way. It's interesting to hear on radio after the Shields game the other night that Jimmy Dean thought Fitzsimmons was at fault for the first goal.
I heard that.
So as much as we all don't want to believe it, he does make mistakes.
No, I think from a keeper's point of view, it's always tough when there's a deflection on the ball, and there was a deflection on the ball, but I don't know, a keeper of his calibre, you maybe expect him to be able to readjust.
I think we'll forgive him. I think he is. So, but yeah, 2-0 away. We're not going to win every game at this level. The away one's going to be tough. Teams are going to set up. I don't think, I've only heard it on the radio, but it doesn't sound like Alfreton did set up to sort of sit deep. It sounded like they did have quite a good go. Similar to sort of Shields on Tuesday. So.
Yeah. And Alfreton did as well have, I think, the biggest long throw I've ever seen against Scunthorpe. You know, from the far touchline, you know, the lads clearing the back post. I mean, honestly, I've always that's a long throw.
Yeah. It's a weapon at this level.
Yeah, massive. I'd love that. You know, we haven't defended long throws properly for 20 years.
No.
And both Danny's got on the score sheet, Ryan. What do you think to the performance? How do you think they're getting on up front together now?
I think they're actually playing all right. I was one that didn't think they'd fit into any system, to be honest. Obviously, we know Jimmy Dean likes his 4-3-3, so I was quite surprised when I saw them both up front together. I think it was the Scarborough game when he first tried it. But yeah, it's working at the minute, so yeah, there's no reason to, unless either of them get injured or anything like that, there's no reason to change it really, and they're both in form, so yeah, why not continue?
Speaking about injuries, you know, Danny Whitehall went off on 75 minutes on Saturday. There was some speculation that he was limping. Was you concerned that it might have been a bit more serious than it was?
Not really, until I saw Richie Bennett had signed, and then I thought there was maybe something in it. I thought he's maybe brought Bennett in as a bit of a backup for Whitehall being injured, but it doesn't appear that he is injured at all. So
I don't think the two things were necessarily related at all. I think, right or wrongly, they were looking at Bennett for a couple of weeks. He's been training with the team, in and around the team, for at least a week and a half that I know of. And to be honest, I think the club were desperate to sign him. I think he had some offers higher up, maybe geographically a bit more southern, which I know he lives relatively local. And I know, speaking to people at the club, they were desperate to get him over the line, to be honest with you. Max, what did you think to it? The signing of Richie Bennett?
Yeah, mixed feelings in terms of, I think we probably did need an extra body in the building, and that's what it is, and it's been funded by the three departures, none of whom were really forward players, none of whom were in and around the first team or the squad. So I'm, you know, from that point of view, I am convinced it's a gain. I'm possibly not emotionally over his miss at York when he goes one-on-one and clears it 15 yards over the bar. But if, as like Ryan said, they're going to be having Elliott and Whitehall in the same starting 11 in that 4-3-3, there has been a couple of games this season where you look at the bench and they've needed potentially a goal with 10 or 15 minutes to go. And there's maybe Semi Ferris as an offensive option, but that's possibly it. So having a third striker, if you're playing with two during the game, probably does make sense.
I think the thinking at the club, I'm not saying I necessarily agree or disagree, it's just my observation. I think the logic at the club is, and they really like the look of Danny Elliott out wide. They much prefer, they see him as that kind of like out wide player coming in. I don't necessarily think they see him as the old-fashioned number 9 centre forward. So I think it's definitely, the logic is to give options to Whitehall, particularly if he gets a knock like he did on Saturday, or, you know, if he stopped, God forbid he stopped scoring or something goes on with him. I do think it's cover specifically for Whitehall rather than, you know, a third option.
Yeah, I mean, at this level, I feel Elliott's going to be fine playing this position, sort of in the false three, the three up front.
Yeah.
It's good because he does it, because we're on top of games and we're having quite a lot of possession. He doesn't have to track back. He's got no defending to do, sort of thing. So he's sort of a second, third striker. So he's going to. But the more, obviously, touch wood, we go up this year. That might change next year, where he is going to be more of a left winger than a left forward. Be interesting to see what happens when Law comes back, because I was really impressed with him pre-season, and obviously he was playing on the left and the front three. So whether he could play on the right, do a job there, and then obviously the guy from Hearts, what's his name?
Connor Smith.
Roberts. Carl Roberts. Still got him.
Sorry,
still got Roberts come back as well.
Yeah, but you said from Hearts, so balance answer was
you are right. But yeah, with Roberts coming back as well, that's 4 or 5 really good attackers to fit into that 3. And I mean, you wouldn't take Elliott now. Whitehall's one of the first names on the team sheet. I'd say that other place up for grabs, but yeah, I'm fairly sure, and Law was a left winger. So it'd be interesting, but it's a good problem to have. It's not very often we have these problems at Scunny, is it? We've got 2 or 3 for each position.
No, indeed. And I think, you know, there was a huge reaction to it on Twitter. It wasn't, to be honest, wasn't that surprising.
Is this Bennett?
Yeah. What was your views on it personally, Marco? Do you understand the decision?
In all honesty, pissed off. I was pissed off because I was there at York, and I've said numerous times in this podcast that to me was the turning point. That's when I left that game knowing we weren't staying up. And to have your main striker coming off the pitch laughing about it when these people pay so much money to support this club and watch this club week in, week out. But now I've had sort of time to sort of step away from it. I do get it. You just need to sort of not take it personal, take everything out of it. And he is another body, and he should score goals at this level, and he's a good option. There's not, but let's be honest, when you do look back, there's not many teams in National League North, maybe not even National League, that's got a striker with as big as Fred or sort of a household name like Richie Bennett on the bench as a backup. So in that way, it is a good option. And now I've calmed down. I think
you're right, mate. I think once you take the emotion out of it, it's potential to be a decent signing, really. What do you think, Max?
So I thought Malcolm made a couple of good points in terms of the 4-3-3 system. You know, you get really offensive players, suits when you're a side at the top of the table, possession, creating chances. Look, the time will tell, and you do have to be realistic to a certain extent. We're playing in the 6th tier. You know, you're going to attract players that's reflective of that fact, even if you're a big club at that level. You know, all any of us want from any players is good performances, and I don't think Twitter is as reflective of society as you'd think. So, look, in this new cycle, if we go and win on Saturday against Buxton, nobody will care. Everyone will move on.
I think that's fair. Just looping back then to the game on Saturday, Ryan. Obviously, you were there. The attendance, I think, was just over 1,300, and the approximation is that over 1,000 of them were Scunthorpe fans. What have you made of the Iron support away from home and at home so far this season?
Well, it's been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, all the away volumes have been good so far. I don't think we've had a game less than 500 away from home yet, as far as I can think of. Obviously, a lot of the games are more local this year compared to the last few years. Obviously, last year it was pretty much all London-based teams. So, and obviously we've had 5 years of losing football games. So I think fans just happy to see the team winning a few games, to be honest. I think while we're still doing that, fans will still keep coming back. And obviously there was the Scarborough game as well, which was nearly 5,000.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Can I just say, anybody that thinks that is a motorbike, it is a Citroen Picasso.
Doing the world's longest, loudest.
So we do apologise. I'm watching him now, and it is. It sounds like a Harley-Davidson, but it is a Citroen Picasso.
I think it was yours, wasn't it?
Gareth's back from Switzerland. In the tractor.
I'm just going to ask you, Ryan. You've probably seen more games than any of us this season. What have you made of the tactics that Jimmy's been employing? Do you think he's an adaptive manager? Do you think he's quite versatile? Do you think he reacts well to situations?
Well, yeah, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, you go back to the first game against Tamworth. We were really struggling in that game for the first hour. We were lucky to be drawing the game on the hour mark. And then he made 2 changes. He brought Butterfield on and he brought Whitehall on. And they both had a part to play in the winning goal. I think it was the Darlington game as well. He brought Sembi Ferris off the bench. He went and scored at the end. I know the game was done by then anyway. Obviously there was the Rushall game where Michael Kelly got the assist for Denton's goal at the end as well. He'd come off the bench, so his substitutions have been pretty faultless really, and he's made them at the right times as well, I think.
And then we'll just move on then to the game on Tuesday against South Shields. You know, early days, but it was a top of the table clash. It was 2nd versus 3rd, and I think a lot of us thought, it'd be a very, very tight game, not much in it. The first 30 minutes, Michael, were absolutely electric.
Stunning, literally the only word, stunning. Like, so comfortable. You only peeve would be we didn't get 3 or 4 in that period. South Shields keeper made a couple of good saves. He had quite a good game actually, considering. The defence played, but again, fair play. I mentioned it with Alfreton, and fair play to South Shields, because they came and had a go, and I think you could tell that with the football. Obviously, who we are, because they're in charge now. He'll want to play expansive football, free flow, and I think they definitely did that. But yeah, the first half an hour, I think someone on Twitter said it was Graham Alexander. Sort of that period, and it was chance after chance. We never looked like conceding. Again, we should have got 3, 4, 5. Really enjoyable. But I mean, we've all been to a lot of games. We know that can't be maintained throughout the full game. We know other teams aren't going to come into the game.
And even that game wasn't one-way traffic.
No.
From them scoring, you know, in the 35th minute was it, from them scoring up until us getting the third in the 85th minute. It was a 50-50 game really.
Yeah.
They could have equalised, we could have gone 3-1 up. It was kind of going back and forth. But my opinion was the equaliser was inevitable. Like it felt almost certain that Shields would get the equaliser. What did you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I thought we got a little bit sloppy in the second half, to be honest. I don't think we really came out after half time. I thought we invited them in a little bit rather than them coming into the game. I think we sort of caused it on ourselves a little bit.
But they're a good side, you know, they're obviously at the top of the table. I think one of the only other full-time clubs in the division.
Yeah, I thought their midfield was quite good. I thought the way they moved the ball across the midfield, sort of between the lines, you could see that they were decent at that, and that's why they're probably going to be in and around the play. Just for on the ball, you know, they could play the ball. They're probably going to play some teams off the park.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully we did get that third goal because I think
they won 4-0 at home the game before.
Yeah.
You know, so that at times they've been playing some free-flowing football, and you know, whatever you take on it is, there was a large portion of that game match where we suppressed that.
Yeah, I think Ryan did hit on a very good point there in terms of that hour period that you mentioned. You know, we were quite sloppy in possession. You know, even when we had the ball, the incision, the quality, the execution wasn't there to the same extent that it was in the first half an hour. And that's actually where I sometimes have a bit of sympathy with managers. And that's not a tactical issue, that's an execution issue. You know, for those of you who were unlucky enough to be at the South Shields game last year, I was it's the right reaction. I was surprised at the difference in South Shields' performance. You know, when we went up to the North East last year, they were obviously managed by Kevin Phillips. Very well organised, well disciplined, threat from set pieces. You know, did all the simple things right. But then under a new manager, as has been said, they moved the ball slickly. I thought their front three were a threat. They didn't look great at the back, but then neither did we at a couple of, you know, twitchy moments. So, but we got the win over the line. It turns out after all the South Shields goal looks like it might have actually been onside. Sorry, linesman. Was that you coughing at the onside or just coughing?
No,
it's not like an Italian to dispute the decision.
No, it was offside. I can't think who it was now, so I completely forgot. But I saw someone mention about Ogle's performances this season. And when with the offside, it does look a little bit lazy, so he's not come out quick enough. But at that time, I agree with Max, he looks so far offside. I mean, being in the Donny Road, and you don't really get that visual. So
I'll say this: I don't know who was digging Ogle. I haven't seen that, but I think Ogle for me has been one of our most consistent players from the start of last season up until this point. Some fans saying he's been a bit slow this season, but I tell you, I think we've spoken about this privately, Michael. For me, the point is, last season we expected and we needed a lot from Ogle because the players around him weren't offering as much, so he had to go forward, he had to be that threat from fullback.
He was our main goal threat.
Yeah, but this season, because he's actually playing with players who can do their job.
He's got no need.
All he needs to do is his job, which is defence. He maybe doesn't stand out as much.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, you know, that's no reflection on him.
There was a couple of sloppy passes. Like I said, as much as we love Ogle, it was his mistake for not pushing up. But again, like Max said, it's Conference League North. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be mistakes. Other teams are going to do that as well. I still stand by Ogle's the best right back in this division. Yeah. Arguably the one above.
I completely agree. I thought he was probably our best player at Tamworth, which was a performance in a lot of ways that did share similarities with last season. You know, you name me a title-winning side where the player of the season is the right back, and you know, I'm not sure I'd be that convinced.
No, I get
you know. So there are structural reasons there why he's not going to stand out as much.
There wasn't much competition
No.
though.
Of course there wasn't. Of course
you make a good point though. What you're saying is, in a side with so much quality, it's difficult for that player to flourish as much.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one really talks about Dave Mulligan, do they? They don't know, do they?
No, that's because they prefer Cliff Byrne.
Yes.
No, but you see in the man of the match awards, for example, if you're not sure if there's maybe 3 or 4 players who might be in the mix, you go, right, he scored, easy enough, take the job done. So, you know, when you score as many goals at the start of the season as we have done so far, then the forwards, the strikers, the wingers are going to take plaudits, and you know, that's just football.
Ryan, I wonder if I could just ask you for your views on scales. Obviously the red card on Saturday. If we'd been levels above like we used to, it would have obviously been the ban would have been instant. It wouldn't have played on Tuesday. But we're in the new world. We don't know these rules. Certainly, I didn't. I think you did, Ryan. But he was obviously eligible to play because of the 7 delay administration. What did you think to his response, getting that early goal?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I think, to be honest with you, I think we're going to miss him in the next 3 games. I believe the FA Cup is included. I'm sure the manager said that on the radio. So that's one of the games at least. So he'll only miss 2 league games. And I think if the Brackley game goes to a replay, he'll actually only miss 1 league game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I still think it'll be a big miss. Just for his energy more than anything. I think we'll miss that in the midfield, particularly while we've got obviously Buxton injured. He gives us that energy as well. We haven't got him at the minute, and obviously Clunan as well. Carl Roberts, Jason. We seem to have been hit in one area, which is literally the midfield. So I think it will be a miss just for his energy and his sort of tenacity in midfield.
Just on that point, bizarrely, that touch wood, that's not wood, that's copper. Touch wood. The one player who in that position who's been able to avoid injury so far, probably the one we all thought might be most likely in Butterfield.
Yeah. Again, Butterfield, I put. We mentioned we should work for Twitter. I mentioned on Twitter X. Oh yeah. Earlier in the season, I think it was a Peterborough Sports game. Was it the game he scored? Peterborough Sports from the outside the area. Yeah. And I said, Jimmy Butterfield now is this.
Who's Jimmy Butterfield?
Jimmy Butterfield. Jacob Butterfield.
Has he got a Jacob's lad? Or?
God. But he's a vegan,
Has he got a talented brother who can play football as well?
So,
I'm thinking like...
I mentioned that he is now this 65, 70-minute man. And I think on Tuesday, if anything underlined that, he looked very leggy. To me, up until that 65, 70-minute period, fantastic again. This Butterfield we're seeing now, I feel like Jimmy knows, this is why I got confused. Jimmy, I think, knows his limits and he's sort of bubble wrapping him because he's so vital and pivotal to this team. But to me, we were crying out for that sub at Butterfield. Just 5-10 minutes early because you could see the energy. We're just coming down a little bit. But I've no qualms on Butterfield. I think it's fantastic.
Obviously 8 games played now. We are top of the league. We're 1 point above Tamworth. Spoke to Jimmy after the game, Jimmy Dean, and he.
Oh, look who's name dropping now! You attacked Ryan for mentioning Matt Dean.
I think attack is a bit harsh. I was speaking to Jimmy after the game.
My mate.
Yeah, you are mate, mate. Your mate. He said, really the next 3-4 games, it's the ambition, the target is to now start pulling away if we can get a 3-4 point lead. 12, 13 games played and we've already got a lead. I think that's what they're targeting now. So if you can start pulling away, you never know. Could be up in February.
Oh God, why did you have to say it? I think, obviously you want a target to win every game, particularly when you've got ambition of getting promoted. Look, when it's one automatic spot, it's difficult. You can have a really good campaign, but you only need one other club to also have a really good campaign. And that can stretch in. 2 clubs we've just mentioned there, Tamworth and South Shields, who were right up there in the playoffs as well, have been promoted from the division below. There's clearly not a lot of difference between a lot of sides in this division. Look, we'd have all taken being top at this stage, but we're not in any rush. The season will come, and I wouldn't want people to feel like, we've got to get 100 points or we've got to be 5-6 points clear all the time, because sometimes that's out of your control.
Yeah.
I think he's saying we're massive.
Yeah.
I think so.
No, I mean, I do get what you're saying. It'd be nice to have, sort of like you said, with a target of 100 points. I genuinely do think, now you can quote me on this, South Shields were my main worry. I backed them pre-season because I thought, just in case we...
Didn't you also back Darlington?
No, South Shields
that
to
was
me.
me.
Yeah, South Shields to me. I think it was 16-1, so I thought, I'll have a bit of that. Just in case we sort of scumforked it. And we still could. I'm not saying we won. Seeing them at home, seeing them at Grantham Park on Tuesday, made me think, what team comes here and wins?
We look a different team at home, don't we?
Yeah, it'd be really nice. I know it's a massive stress, but to go and beat it at home, this season. I don't see many teams coming and competing like South Shields did. So again, I don't think anyone beats us at home.
Right, I think we'll put a full stop under that segment and we'll move on to the next one, which is the Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah.
If I can hand over to you.
So, it's been, to be fair, I mean, it's been a crazy week because there's been 3 players in the Premier League with hat-tricks. We've got Son, Haaland, and...
The other one.
Literally, Ferguson from Brighton.
Of course.
Who is injured, and I've seen rumours of him going over to England side. Whether it's true or not,
I'd be surprised if that's true.
I'd be very surprised.
Because obviously Rice and Grealish did, but they were English with Irish ancestry.
Right.
Whereas Ferguson is
Proper Irish.
It's already been said he's not allowed, I think.
Oh, okay.
I've seen he's been in a squad before, but he played in a friendly.
Yeah, I said that FIFA updated the rules. So I think you are theoretically allowed to switch. It's because Ferguson's really young. The rules are more relaxed.
Yeah.
But I'd be very, very surprised.
Do you mean, when you say not allowed, you mean his parents?
No,
the authorities.
Yeah. But I hope he does pick out.
Yeah, I knew that.
There's far too much of that now. A joke. With international teams now.
Well, it didn't land, did it?
Forget it.
we do brush over a lot of what Barra says. We can't edit everything out. But yeah, going back to that, I do hope he stays around because there's too much of that now in international. It's getting a little bit silly. I remember Germany versus Ghana and the 2 Boateng brothers were playing against each other. It's like, come on. You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that.
There's everything wrong with that. Anyway, so
playing for Germany, you're right. Go on, carry on.
So in first place, and we have Oliver Yuri, and his team name's not Danny Whitehall.
I don't think it's Yuri. I think it's Uri.
Uri? Yeah.
Yeah. Having gone to school with a lad with that surname, I think it's Uri.
I'll hurry up. And his team name is not Danny Whitehall. He did use his free hit though, but he had both Haaland and Son in his fantasy team and scored 95 points this week. So first place at the minute. I then thought, have we had anyone get 100 points yet this season? So did a bit of scrolling down to 27th place, and we had Owen Petch, who scored 113 points. No boosts used, just had 2 of the hat tricks and a solid team.
And it's only put him up to 27.
He's in 27th. I think he did climb a lot, but like I say, it's quite close everywhere at the minute.
That's a first week that as well.
Great week. I think it's the best we've had so far. So special mention, Owen Petch, well done. And last place, we've got a new last place, is Dylan Mason, whose team name is just SUFC.
Sorry, Dylan.
So I can only assume he's a Southend fan because no Scunthorpe team will be at the bottom.
You can turn your phone upside down.
Surprising one, he's got no Haaland, which is very odd, which explains why he's bottom. No, I didn't go that deep in. We've got Ryan on the pod today. So Ryan sits in 109th place. But bear in mind, there is literally nearly 200 people in this league, and it's all very close. So, the pod guys, Gareth's away today. Gareth is the lowest, who sits on 170th place.
How many teams are there?
171.
No, I think there's 190 something.
Oh wow, so we're still growing. Excellent.
Oh yeah, I've got another 2 coming in this week as well. So he got 48 points this week, which for Gareth's not bad. Barra is the second lowest of the pod, who is at 139.
Oof.
I don't know if you've done this on purpose, but you got 69 points.
Children.
We've then got Max, who broke into the top 100, who, to be fair, had a pretty solid week with 85 points.
That's good.
And then me, I am 51st with 73.
And how's Will getting on?
To be fair, I ain't got this wrote down, but I saw it. I always check and hope. But he is 4th.
He's flying.
Yeah, and he doesn't play it. He genuinely does not normally play it. So, Fantasy Premier League's been brilliant again. We've got the international period now, so hopefully everyone forgets to do the teams and I can climb a few places. I think after the international break, the first week back, we will have a prize for the first place. Well, the most points that week.
Fair.
So, yeah, brilliant.
Right, great. I think we'll move on to the next segment, which is courtesy of Iron Stats. If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's Iron_Stats, or should I say X? Follow him on X. Again, he does a lot of good work. I think he's working with a digital program these days. He does fantastic stuff. We've got a mixture of stats which were on his Twitter page, which he sent me privately, and which I asked for. So I'm going to kick off with one I requested, which is that Tuesday's attendance was our highest for a Tuesday night game since May 2018, the 2-0 win against Plymouth.
To be honest, I reckon if you'd given that a minute, I'd have backed Ryan to guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd have all got it.
Was that a playoff
That
game?
was not that special.
Was that the playoff game?
3,004.
It wasn't in the playoffs, it was to basically get us into
that was it. Yeah.
3,477, 166, I want to say, from South Shields on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, very
that's
good.
Terrific. From both pubs as well.
Yeah,
that's really good support from South Shields.
Shields have impressed me, fans as well this season. This one from his Twitter: Danny Whitehall and Danny Elliott have now been involved in 14 of our 19 goals scored this season, which is crazy. Jimmy Dean, now the 6th Iron manager to win Manager of the Month. The Iron have now scored 19 goals this season, as we just mentioned, and this is the most they've scored after 8 league games since 1961.
Yes. And that would have been the season which was our highest ever finish in the Football League pyramid, 61-62, and they finished 4th in what's now the Championship. So
who's Stato now?
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Watch out,
you
mate.
should write a book about Scunthorpe.
Watch out, Iron Stats.
available in all shop discount bins.
And I thought we'd finish on a couple of stats here. We were all obviously very, very saddened to hear of the passing of Scunthorpe United legend Ian Hamilton. A couple of stats from him: 175 appearances, 21 goals, part of 2 playoff campaigns, including Wembley '92, where he actually scored a penalty, and an interesting one, of the 20 goals he scored. The 20 games in which he scored a goal, we won 15.
That's a great.
So if he bagged, we were likely to win.
The other, Ryan will correct me if I get this wrong, but there was another one that you haven't got any more Ryan stats.
No,
lined up, have you?
that's them all.
The other one I saw was, was it the Scarborough game? Which one was it? Was for the first time we'd had 2 different players born in Scunthorpe to score for the first time in decades. So that's terrific. And I know there's been all the stuff with the academy and sort of that thing, but I really, really liked that one. Homegrown players scoring.
That's very good. The next segment then is the Hero, Idiot and Moment of the Week. We know the drill by now. I each ask you for your Hero, Idiot and Moment of the Week. You tell me, I then pick a winner. I think I'll kick off with Ryan first this week. Ryan, who's your Hero of the Week?
So mine is actually James Moody this week. I don't know if I know it's been mentioned recently on the pod. He was doing a charity skydive to raise money for Lindsay Lodge. He did that yesterday, and the last time I looked, it was yesterday. I think it's still rising. It was over £1,700. It's
brilliant.
So brilliant effort. So
Absolute. I say this with all the love in the world, Moody. You absolute nutter.
I think that's the fans' choice, Ryan. I think you played to the crowd there. Max, who's your Hero of the Week?
Yeah, you touched on it yourself really there. I think it would be an Ian Hamilton. A really good, creative, effective box-to-box midfielder for Scunthorpe. Only 55. I mean, taken from us far too young. Went on to have an excellent career at West Brom as well. Played under Ozzy Diaz, who I believe won the World Cup for Argentina. Spurs legend. Far too young. Ian would be my Hero of the Week, I think.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Marco?
See, I've changed mine. Ryan sort of jaunted me with stuff that's going on close to home. I saw on Facebook the other day that Scunthorpe Hospital Radio came back, giving commentary for all the games. I think it was Brad Mell.
Yeah.
Brad Mell doing it. Obviously, it's so good and something that is great for the town again. Gives people, obviously, who can't go to the games an opportunity to listen. And how well we're doing at the minute. So yeah, fair play, because that's such a great thing to do.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know Brad. I've never met Brad personally, but everyone I speak to tells me he's a cracking bloke.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic work, Brad. Well done.
Yeah, I have to say, usually at least 1 or 2 of our Heroes of the Week are a bit crap.
Yeah.
3 very strong choices this week.
Very strong choices. I have to say, all fans' choices. I think I'll go this week with Ian Hamilton. I think I couldn't do anything else. An absolute Scunthorpe legend. I think he's one of those that our dads tell us, unbelievable player. You have to see it to believe it at times. So, really, really sad to hear the passing of Ian Hamilton. And he is our hero of the week. So that's 1 point to Max. So we'll go for idiot of the week then. Ryan, if you'd like to give me yours.
I'm going to go for the referee at Alfreton.
Yes.
Obviously, we've already spoken about the red card incident, which was a little bit sort of borderline 50-50. But if you're sending a player off with a straight red in sort of the 6th, 7th minute of a game, you're setting the precedent for the rest of the game. Obviously, about 20 minutes later, Will Evans has got a clean elbow straight in the side of his face, and the referee's not even done anything about it. He's then gone over to speak to his linesman. Obviously, Evans is pouring with blood out of his face, and he's completely got away with it. And he got away with another arm in the face as well in the first half. So, yeah, not great.
Fair choice. Max, Marco, over to you.
Mine of the week.
What did I do wrong? Have I broke the trend? Who is it?
Go to Marco.
No, it's Max. I'm going to go with Max.
Okay.
Oh, I complained. Now I've been bumped back up the list.
No, I'm going to go with... No.
I think I would have to go for the FA, just because obviously we're coming in at the FA Cup 2 rounds earlier than we did last year, 3 rounds earlier than we'd be used to, if we're being completely honest. Second qualifying round, because it's split into 5 regions. So what was it? North, East, South, West, South. They actually do it behind closed doors. So they briefed out 1 o'clock results. They did a little tweet, and everyone's clicked on it, and the FA website's crashed. I mean, I like to think that it's the thousands and thousands of Scunthorpe fans desperate to know who we're playing.
Well, I think you say that tongue in cheek, but we all were, weren't we?
I was, yeah. So, and me and Ryan and a few of us laugh about it all the time. Is that you think, right? Are we going to get any exciting trips? Are we going to get? Are there any ones we want to avoid? At the time, Brackley were top. Yeah. We couldn't, apart from possibly getting them away from home. Yeah. We literally couldn't have got a more difficult draw. Was it FA Trophy last season? We got Wrexham. Like, what does winning a cup game feel like? I think I've forgotten.
I'm not sure.
My idea of the week is, I don't know the name, but it's whatever. I don't know the name. I don't think we're probably allowed to be fair. It's the guy who tried headbutting Roy Keane. I mean,
allegedly.
Tried, yeah. I mean, what on earth has he had to drink to think that he could headbutt Roy Keane? I mean, I'm happy for his sake, but he didn't get hold of him. I think he's very lucky that Mika Richards got hold of him, because I think he's probably definitely the calmer of the two. But yeah, I mean, we've all seen the images this week. It went viral. What an absolute melon. So yeah, he's my idea of the week.
Allegedly.
You got something to add?
Might be easier for you to choose this one. I don't know.
What do you mean? I always get to choose.
We were saying that the one before was quite a tough choice.
Yeah. Well, it is easy because it's Ryan.
Correct,
yeah. It's obviously Ryan. That referee had a shocker. I think the red card was possibly the right decision, but as Ryan said, you set a precedent, and there's going to be a lot of cards after that, and then he let lots of things go, so I don't really understand.
And deep down, he must have known that he fucked up. Like,
I don't know that he did mess up. I think listen, if it happened on 75 minutes, it's a red card. So it's probably still a red card if it happens. So
I'm on about the elbow.
Oh, right, yeah.
If you're going over to the linesman, you're not doing that to ask him about a
Correct, exactly.
And, crucially, at this level, there's no 4th official. You're losing, potentially, another pair of eyes who might have seen it.
The 4th official shouldn't be inputting anyway, should he?
Into violent competency camp.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, you learn everything.
I knew it.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Just me, the idiot.
I didn't realise about 3 games ago that there wasn't a 4th official.
What were you doing before?
Honestly, I think it was Cleveland Sports at home. I said to my dad, there's no 4th official, I'm sure there's not. So, yeah.
Ryan, then, what was your moment of the week?
Probably, it's Scunthorpe United related again. Jimmy Dean getting the Manager of the Month award for the league the other day. a stat I would like to know is when was the last time a Scunthorpe United manager actually got the manager of the month and won it?
And won.
Actually won the. Obviously he was shortlisted, but he's won it now outright. I can't think of the last time a Scunthorpe United manager has actually won.
Was it Alexander?
Alexander.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, a fair few years ago.
October. Maybe. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
it was definitely Alexander. Yeah.
Anyway, it's richly deserved. It's been a great month.
Yeah.
If it carries on, he might win September as well. You know.
No pressure, I like it.
What was your moment of the week, Max?
Yeah, I think I would go for a football-themed one, but England, obviously we've got the international break coming. There's been lots of chatter about Southgate's squad. Card on the table, those of you who were criticising the fact they picked Harry Maguire are wrong. We've got Conor Cody in the championship, playing in the championship. Stones is injured and Tyrone Mings is out for the season. We're short at centre half.
Ben White?
He seems to have had a really big falling out with
international.
Yeah, and actually, particularly Arsenal flirted with playing White at right back. Yeah. Which is the one position we're not sure of quality in. I would say, however, that I think Sterling's been a little bit unlucky.
Yeah.
I'd have maybe had him over Isaiah, for example, and I would have definitely picked Ward-Prowse above Calvin Phillips.
Yes,
it's Bowen for me.
Moment of the week is.
I would have had Jared Bowen.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Sorry.
Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So what was your moment of the week? The announcement of the squad.
The announcement of the England squad, because it's a massive point of discussion, and I think that's when it's football. You're thinking, I agree with that bit. I don't agree with that bit.
Yeah.
I can sort of half understand that bit.
Yeah.
And I love all the opinions.
I'm going to resist making some kind of political joke at your expense, but. Marco, what was your moment of the week?
Just regarding that, I'm going to annoy you here. When you mentioned about Cody obviously playing the championship, but Henderson getting in the squad, being in Saudi Arabia, do you still think that has an impact? Because you can't tell me that a championship team wins.
I agree. I think that's a very fair question. There are political implications in there as well. I think, central midfield is an area where we're perhaps a little bit short, and rightly or wrongly, Henderson does have leadership capabilities in terms of he's clearly a presence there. Yeah. I'm sitting on the fence about that. I'm sort of in two minds.
We are going to talk international, aren't we? Later on.
I don't know, maybe.
And so I'll give you now. Do it now.
Can you give me your moment?
So I'll give you my moment. My moment, I've only said that because my moment's rubbish. But it's me it's me winning the half-time draw on Tuesday night. I've never won it. I had a very lucky day, lucky couple of hours.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How much was it?
£140.
But then tell me about the others.
I don't condone gambling, but I saw a South Shields fan put 20 quid in the bandit in the pub.
He
So
says to me it's going to drop it. What? He put a quid in and it dropped.
Oh no!
So I put a quid in and won 20 quid on the first spin. So I took that straight out. We were then walking to the ground from the farmhouse. Found £10 on the floor. There was no one around, otherwise I'd definitely have asked. And then I thought, I'm going to try my luck and buy a couple of half-time draw tickets.
There was that kid looking for his pocket money.
Yeah, but look.
So we are in the back of Lars's premises, Marco. I feel the bar's through there, and then you can get around it.
This is all straight vodka. This is my round. But yeah, I got a very lucky couple of hours, and then obviously, won the half-time draw. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I'm going to give you it.
Honestly.
Oh no, don't do that.
It was incredible.
It was weird.
I've never seen anything like it.
I then went and put a bet on my phone, thinking I'm untouchable here, and normality was restored. And I also got a parking ticket today, so it's back to normality. Don't worry, guys.
So it's level after that. So we'll see how the quiz goes, and maybe have a tie break again. So we've got 2 rounds again. We've got SUFC and the Global European round. I'm joking. SUFC round first. I'm going to give this one to Ryan because I accidentally told you both the answer to this earlier. So Ryan's the only one that doesn't.
We don't listen to it, so
that's true enough.
It is true.
So Ryan, when was the last time before the Alfreton game, when was the last time we scored 2 goals whilst down to 10 men?
I genuinely don't know.
I've sent you it earlier.
I genuinely do not know.
2 goals. That's down to 10. Ooh. Just 2 goals in the whole game, or 2 goals after we've been reduced to 10 men?
I mean, we scored 2 goals in the whole game, and both those goals came after we were reduced to 10 men.
After we've been... I'm going to go Walsall away.
The answer, that's not correct. The answer is August 2019. We lost 3-2 away to Cambridge.
Rory McArdle scored twice.
Too, yeah.
First sent off on 21 minutes, and McArdle scored.
Hey, wasn't he our top scorer at that point after that?
Yes, I remember taking an Aston Villa supporting. I remember taking an Aston Villa supporting friend of mine to that game. He said, "Oh, I really like your 23. He looks a good player, young lad." Look, here's a fiver. Take him. Go.
Oh, I miss him.
Max, you're up next. What was the Iron? I bet Ryan knows this one. What was the Irons' last victory before the crowds were banished in 2020 due to the pandemic? So Scunthorpe's last victory in front of a crowd before the COVID pandemic outbreak.
Home or away?
Yes, the last victory.
He's checking now after the global thing last week.
It's always love a good technicality. Well, look,
There's no technicality.
Ryan's going to get this because there's going to be a home game. I'm going to have forgotten here that
You weren't allowed.
It's true, yeah, he's banned.
no, I wasn't. Not at that point.
Was you not?
No.
Well, they banned you when we were all banned because
Correct. It's the most swan thing ever. I'll go for on point of principle. I'll go for Grimsby away. I'm not sure that's right though.
Okay, I can't give you the points, Ryan, but do you want to correct him?
Yeah, Forest Green at home, 1-1-0.
Correct. Who scored?
It was outside box.
I want to say McAtee, I think.
Who was it?
Oh, I remember it. Come on, Pew was it?
No, it was
No.
McAtee. Never doubt him. So it's 0-0 still. Marco, you can spell it. 1-1. Nobody's taken any points since.
It's one like that. I've got no chance. If it's like them two, I wouldn't have got
I
any.
think you've got a fair chance.
Go on, man.
So the Irons' last season in the Championship was the 10-11 season.
Yeah.
What was the largest attendance at Glanford Park that season in the league?
Oh, that's a great question.
What, I have to get the number?
No, you have to give me the team we were playing.
Oh, okay.
Can me and Ryan confer?
Yeah, but you won't get any points and you might help him out.
I know this, I think.
2010.
Come on, can I hurry you up?
Yeah, I'm just going because of a save. Was it Leeds?
It was Leeds.
Get in.
You know that, Ryan?
Yeah.
I also remember Middlesbrough bringing loads on a Tuesday night. That was going to be my second guess, but...
My second guess would have been Hull, because we had Hull that year.
Oh, yeah, of course.
As well.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think Sheffield United was the second highest that season. I'm certain it was.
Depends what we allocated, wasn't it?
It was on a Tuesday. It was on a Tuesday night though, and that always affects the home crowd.
Yeah.
Hull would have been my guess.
So Mark was 2-0.
Is it?
Going into the final. I know. Listen, we're all surprised.
Leeds is easy because Leeds would have taken more. So,
the final round of the quiz, going with it being the international break coming up, we've got some international football related questions. So I am going to ask you first, Ryan. England beat which country 1-0 in the first game of the 2006 World Cup?
Oof, a strong point.
is a picture memory just Scunthorpe? Is it not England either?
If it, I think
5.
I'll tell you something interesting about this game afterwards.
I'll tell you something interesting about this World Cup afterwards.
Oh, maybe don't.
Maybe say it's only if I get to head.
Ryan, if I can push you.
It's a bit of a guess on that. I think we play. I'm going to go Paraguay.
It was Paraguay.
Great guess.
We did beat the 1-0.
Well done, that's incredible.
Just came back in from Park.
The thing I was going to say is I think that was the Andy Murray wore the Paraguay shirt.
Yeah, it was.
I think that was the team. I think it was.
As if you don't need a reason to hate him enough. One belt.
So, Max, over to you. Which two players missed penalties for England against Italy in the Euro 2012 shootout? So, Euro 2012 shootout, which two England players missed penalties?
So Do you want a trivia fact about that game?
No, just have the answer to the question, please.
I'm gonna get anyway.
Struggle with this game.
This is our game, not yours.
I dread to hit Max at a pub quiz. I've got that answer, but I'd also like to inform you.
Your England's most successfully completed pass in that game was heart to camel, which is dreadfully not.
Heart to who?
Heart to camel.
Camel.
And do you know how it gets worse? Camel only came on after an hour.
Oh God.
Okay. That's great, Max. What's the answer to the question?
So hang on, given that there's only 1 point on the stake here,
Yeah, it'll be 2 minutes. Just getting called out.
So if I get one right, I don't get half a point.
Correct.
Well, that's outrageous. That question's literally twice as difficult as everybody else's.
It's twice as easy.
It's the same shootout.
Same shootout.
This is outrageous.
I wouldn't know this.
No.
Well,
I've got it.
I remember.
I
remember watching it, but I'm struggling to remember.
Can I
who
push
missed.
you?
Yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome to push me. Scott Parker and Ashley Cole.
One of them's right.
Cole.
Ashley Young as well.
Correct.
Oh, you want
Cole
that?
and Ashley
So
Young.
it was the two Ashley.
And no points.
That's outrageous. To not get half.
All right. Okay. I'll give you half a point.
Thank you very much.
can't win.
That's fine. I don't care. I want the half a point.
I mean, it means nothing. So this is your chance to win.
Go on.
Italy beat which country 2-0 in their first game of the 2006 World Cup?
I'm trying to think of our group.
Ryan, if you know this, it's outrageous.
I'm trying to think of our group. It was Australia.
You're going to get your phone out.
Yeah, I'll tell you in 2 seconds. I've got my poster on my wall at home. I've literally like my group stage and everything. 2-0. Uruguay.
Incorrect.
Go on.
It was Ghana. Oh, for God's sake. So it goes to a tie. So again, keeping on the international theme, England, Italy.
USA, what the team? USA, Australia, Ghana.
No, it wasn't Australia. It was Czech.
Oh, USA. No, there must have been a red card. That must have been knockouts.
USA, Czech, and Ghana. I looked earlier. England have beaten Italy how many times?
Not enough.
Now I'm gonna make Marco say first because he has this horrific habit of shit owls in the
Is it in competitive football?
Yeah, I think it's all internationals. All internationals. Football, obviously. England have beaten Italy how many times?
I know you've just done it recently in Rome. Which is like the first time in like 50 years or something.
I thought it was Naples.
Naples, yeah, because we picked that stadium on purpose to try and make it.
Flag.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder when his future.
Yeah. But he didn't make it to the game. Now you
don't think he did.
Wonder when his funeral was. Anyway, we might as well just put him with Maradona. But yeah, I'm going 7 in history. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 7. I know it hasn't happened very often.
What are we saying, man?
Go 5.
Oh, it's 9.
Did it?
So Marco, I mean, we've beaten 9 times, mate.
How many did Italy beat England?
13.
And all in tournaments.
were you counting, when you say 13, you counting like penalty shootouts as well, I'm guessing?
It must be, I don't know.
Win to win.
Win to win, mate.
We do get lucky, and I
just had a quick look at head-to-head. It said wins, draws, losses.
I dread it to happen in a tournament because the amount of shit I give everyone. If it actually happened in a tournament like the Euro final last year, I wouldn't have left the house. So yeah, just that can keep. I love that.
Right, I don't know if I have enough time to talk about international football. We'll just quickly preview the Buxton game. Obviously, they're 9th in the league. The last 2 games were against Brackley and Warrington. They've lost 2 games this season to Brackley and Warrington. They beat Darlow 5-0 on Saturday and drew 0-0 with Gloucester on Tuesday. What do you think going into this game, Max?
2 successive clean sheets. You know, the the back line has clearly been pretty well organised. It's going to be a different challenge for them coming away from home. What I want to see is going to go at them early. A repeat performance of the first 20 minutes against Buxton, because if they can get 1-0 in front, then straight away they've got to come out. You're going to have space out wide, you're going to have space in the channel, and it's going to potentially totally frustrate their style of play.
Yeah. Ryan, how do you see the game against Buxton going?
I think it'll be a different sort of challenge to Tuesday. They've actually kept 4 clean sheets in a row now. They haven't conceded for about 400 minutes, something like that. So yeah, it's going to be a tough challenge. Obviously, it's forecast to be about 30 degrees on Saturday, so hopefully that does play in our hands, being the full-time team. Hopefully in the second half they might sort of tire a little bit more than usual. And yeah, I think we will win out. I fancy us against anybody in this league at home, I really do. Like I say, I think maybe 1 or 2 teams will beat us this season at home, if that. So I think we'll win. I'll go 2-0, I think.
30 degrees? Yeah. On behalf of gingers everywhere, that's too many. That's just too much.
You were there, weren't you?
What?
You were there?
In Poland?
Yes, no, indeed. But it's
very hot there as well. I speak to my friend there, he bought some sun cream today. He's a fellow ginger.
Honestly, I've got a little factor 50 that's like 75 millilitres, so we can go in my hand luggage. Mate, it's brutal.
I think agree with Max. I just really want to get them front foot early on. If teams are coming to Glenford Park and having to attack us and leave spaces, we'll punish them. I'm going 3-1 again, because on home side the other day we asked Jimmy Dean about if we were a bit annoyed not getting clean sheets. Didn't seem to be too fussed about it at all. So I do think once we attack, we do attack. We will concede goals, but as long as we score 3 or 4.
I'll just go to you quickly, Ryan. Jugger asks on Twitter how important an FA Cup run will be this year with us going for promotion, or do you think the financial gain will be too much for do you think we'll concentrate on a good cup run to get the finances in?
Yeah, I think if we win a couple of rounds, I'd like to see us get to the first round proper, at least. I wouldn't, obviously a crazy cup run's brilliant, but it can distract from the league. You've seen it so many times, especially in non-league. So I'd like to see us get to the first round. Obviously we've got a tough tie first, but I think if we get through Brackley, we can't really get anybody tougher in the next round, because there's another 2 rounds before the National League teams come in. So if we beat Brackley, we're bound to get surely somebody a little bit easier in the next round. So yeah, it should be a good game. At least it's at home.
Max, James Britton asks, just a quick one for you. Who do you think will be our top goal scorer this season?
Danny Whitehall.
And Marco James asks, who will be our player of the season from the end of the season?
Sticking with my guns, and on the podcast the other day, we each picked who's going to get the most point moves.
Yeah.
I've been so impressed with Denton.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic. Yeah, I'm sticking with him. He's been
player of the season. That's a good one. At this rate, particularly if it's tight, I might go Fitzsimmons.
Okay, didn't ask you, but fair enough.
Since when has that ever stopped me? Ryan said Denton was his too, so I just thought I'd set myself apart.
Ryan, one for you. Becky has asked what you think about, weirdly, some of the kind of negative press that Scunny fans have been getting from some other clubs. I think maybe not used to that many fans turning up in these towns. What do you think of it? Anything in it?
Yeah, I think it is what it is. I know there's a bit of bother at the Tamworth game, but apart from that, I've not seen any trouble or anything like that, really. Obviously, these clubs are just not used to the sort of size of club as Scunthorpe, like Rushaw, for example. There was only 3 Portaloos for 550 people, so it's going to be carnage at these away games if that's the facilities we're dealing with.
Absolutely does my head in. Obviously, if somebody could see what we've been through for the last 6 or 7 years, we are going to enjoy Alfreton away. We're going to enjoy Tamworth away. We're going to take big numbers. It's going to be loud. We're all going to think we're going to go unbeaten, deal with it. And we are.
Just a quick one. Can I just ask a quick one?
Go on, go.
Becky also asks about whether the club should consider training on a 3G pitch a bit more with some of these away games. No? Max, what do you say?
No, because I think high risk of injury, and there's only 5 teams in this league with plastic pitches.
There's no give, is there?
And I want to say, we've already played Tamworth, we've already played Rushaw, so I think we've broken the back of it partially at least.
Yeah,
She's got a point, but she's got a point. But I watched that interview with the Dorky manager, who they've just played on a 4G pitch. She was saying like the injuries, without there being any give on the pitch, the less amount of time we spend on plastic pitches, the better.
Just another point quickly as well. We've played 4 away games so far, and the 2 we've played on 3G we've actually won. So,
quick shout outs then to PJK, Josh Fish, Yi Anis, Neil Jackson, and James Britton, and Marco and Ryan. Weirdly, likes the post, ask for a shout out, so you'll get one.
You did me at start.
Yeah. Sorry?
You got me at start.
Aww.
He said I'm joined by Marco. That's my shout out.
Good one, mate. That's it for this episode of the INL podcast. Thank you to my usual panel, Marco and Max. A big thank you to a member of the fans panel, Ryan Middleton, for coming on. I think closing thoughts from us guys is just, once again, rest in peace. And this episode we would like to dedicate to Scunthorpe United legend Ian Hamilton.